A brutal accident has occurred with a bus and its passengers. A fiery blaze rages in the back of the bus, whilst the front is heavily damaged. Up ahead, and truck driver lays heavily injured. And on the ground lays a destroyed tanker truck. Investigators are struggling to find out what happened. They need to find out soon though, that way this doesn't happen again. The time is 2:10 p.m. A bus known as Metro 1A is preparing for departure after a quick refuel. The bus leaves at exactly 2:11 p.m. The driver is a 48-year-old man named Harold Johnson. He is relatively new to driving a bus, but knows the basics. However, he noticed the brakes and steering were a bit wonky, but ignored it.
If your steering or brakes become weird and wonky, you should probably stop and check on them, otherwise some bad stuff could happen. And this bus driver chooses to ignore the bad steering and brakes.
Harold continues to drive to the next bus stop, ignoring the brakes and steering. Harold arrives at the next bus stop and prepares to load and unload passengers. Meanwhile, on a bridge up ahead, a broken-down semi-truck is blocking the path. Supposedly, a broken axle caused a disarrangement in the wheels, causing the truck to spin out.
The most likely cause of the truck to break an axle is perhaps a sharp turn or a random jackknife. Either way, the truck is blocking the bridge.
The truck sits on the bridge, waiting for the tow truck the driver called earlier, but more trouble was soon to occur. Meanwhile, the bus is ready to depart the stop. However, the bus driver ignored another problem. The trunk where the engine was stored was wide open. This can cause some problems. The bus is now approaching the bridge, with wonky brakes and steering, and a semi-truck blocking the way. bus has crashed into the tanker trailer of the semi-truck. At first it looks like the danger is over, but really it's not.
You see, the force in which the bus impacted isn't quite enough to make the trailer explode on impact. But if the bus continues to put pressure on it, which it is now doing, the trailer can certainly explode.
As the bus continues to put pressure on the trailer, an issue will begin in the back of the bus. The engine that is still exposed is still being ran. However, the force of the impact sent a shockwave through the bus and through all of the engine because it was exposed. Because of this, the engine is heavily damaged, and if it continues to run, it can explode. At exactly 2:20 p.m., the bus engine explodes, setting the back of the bus ablaze and creating heat at the front. The heat at the front suggests to investigators that maybe the heat was the thing that caused the explosion that will happen later. Meanwhile, completely stunned and traumatized, the semi-truck driver, 34-year-old Daniel Harp, was thankful he wasn't injured yet. But then, a thought explosion occurred, severely injuring the semi-truck driver. The tanker trailer was launched off the bridge and lay in ruins. This was a hint that maybe it was an explosion, but then there's the question, why didn't the semi-truck catch fire? That question still hasn't been solved. So was it an explosion or something else? Investigators still need to solve that question.